All right, here we go. This is Between Showers.
Episode 4 of our Chaplin video vlogs, whatever they're called, you young whippersnappers call them.
This film was released on February 28th, 1914. There's Ford Sterling, the guy who Chaplin was originally hired to replace, ironically enough now performing in films with him.
There's, what's this guy's name again, Mr. Cucumber?
It's Chester Conklin again.
There we go, Chester Cucumber, Chester Conklin.
Now, obviously enough, this film, I would imagine the only inspiration for this is there was a huge rainstorm, and Senna probably said, hey, there's a huge rainstorm outside. Everybody grab their cameras and let's head out and make some movie in the park.
Now, if you remember, we talked about this in our last episode, is that a lot of these old films, they didn't have movie studios yet. So the studios, not that they didn't have them yet, excuse me, but a lot of what they used for sets was everyday events, everyday things that was going on around them. Which I think is kind of interesting because it kind of makes these movies a little more relatable because you got the background people are everyday Joes walking up and down the street, maybe going to work or going to the market, and there's these random fellows acting extraordinary with ridiculous mustaches and makeup on, having a whole bunch of chaos.
I mean, this is the equivalent, though, of some kid, you know, with a YouTube account going out and just filming his friends and doing
stealing umbrellas.
Stealing umbrellas.
Because of course that's what. Now I want to warn all our viewers. This is the dangers of flirting. You get your umbrella stolen, because of course it's an important thing to have. Now I mean, and I guess Nigel brought up the fact that Max Santa was probably like, hey guys, there's a rainstorm going on. Let's go out there. There was a rainstorm. Let's film something. And this is probably these ideas, these thoughts were done on the spot. A lot of improvise, a lot of just going with the flow. He just realizes something's wrong with his umbrella. I wonder if that umbrella got struck by lightning.
I think that's Minta Durfee again, which is Fatty Arbuckle's wife.
All these names. Let me give you guys a suggestion. If you have an ugly name, you're not going to make it in the film industry. Everybody with a weird name just disappears.
But also, any girl that would leave you because your umbrella fell apart clearly isn't the woman for you.
Of course, she was okay with his mustache. What she's not okay with is a broken umbrella. That's it. Say, if your umbrella's broke, what else is broke?
You know what, though? Ironically enough, that's what I was getting to. This whole movie is about whoever holds the umbrella holds the masculinity in this film.
Well, here we are. Here's
That's Emma Clifton.
Doesn't want to get her feet wet. Now, you know what I love about these movies? You have all these actors, and they're just doing these random parts. I mean, they're just walking in the street, looking at the water. Here's Ford Sterling over. He looks like a leprechaun. You notice
a very tall leprechaun. Yeah.
He's building the storyline here. He's like, hey, I got the solution. I'm the hero, and she's.
Chaplin though. I mean, you look at making.
Look at that walk. It reminds me of the Chaplin walk.
You look at Making a Living. And this is what Charlie, because until Charlie came on the scene, this was the biggest male lead at Keystone.
Thank God Charlie came on the scene.
So when Charlie came on the scene, he was trying to copy Ford Sterling.
Almost the same wardrobe.
That's true too, yeah, before he got the tramp character.
And notice his stance, even look at the length of his shoes are a little big. Just the whole proportion of the character. Then of course here's Chaplin. Doesn't this remind you, this fence, doesn't this kind of remind you of A Dog's Life almost? That little setup.
At the same time, that footage, that little clip there, I'd never seen that before until this restoration. There's a lot of little bits and pieces that have never been available before that they put into these new restorations that they found.
Hey, and we want to suggest to you guys, really
look at the horse and carriage there. That's awesome.
We have a link in the bottom of this to check out the Keystones on Amazon. We really suggest you do it. It's a phenomenal thing to have, and it's a really good collection and really good quality.
100 years in the making, these restorations.
Of course, Chaplin's plant's flooding a lot again. I mean, this is something you don't see later on as a tramp develops. And these are things that for me are important. I wonder if you see somebody's random dog. Really, the development of the tramp is an important thing. And like I said here, the flooding pants, and eventually the tramp's pants become a lot longer and dragging and baggy.
I always thought that was kind of uncomfortable, that little clip there.
It's a big thing with the Keystones, and the slapstick comedy falling over.
Humping trees.
Butts getting injured.
When I was a kid, I got a tape of a Chaplin Keystones, the old ones that were really bad quality. I remember this one always being one of my favorites for some reason. I don't know, I always liked this one.
Do you ever notice in the first few films with the tramp, he has his hat on sideways? Have you noticed that? He almost looks more like a clown than he does than the tramp that we come to know. And
that's kind of a creative angle for this era. That's an ambitious camera angle. not the normal, shots you're used to.
Here's a Keystone Cop.
Oh. See, look, look,
What a gentleman.
look at 1914. There's
Hey,
trains.
I gotta say, that was a pretty heavy woman. I don't know how you carried her like that.
There's trains, there's horse and buggies still on the street. There's cars. It was really a transitional time period for America.
Well, it's a transitional time for film. It's a transitional time for America. It's a transitional time for the times. But it's also, and it's one of the points that we bring up a lot in these early commentaries, that it's a transitional time for Chaplin developing as an artist, developing as an actor, as a director, and really the development of the Tramp.
You want to know who this film was directed by?
Who?
Take a guess. Henry Learman. But he had the good sense to stay out of this one.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh man.
Of course, these here are classic Chaplin gags. Getting pushed in the water, getting hit in the foot, one guy dropping one thing on another guy. Just very classic slapstick Charlie Chaplin.
This is where our tax dollars are going to pay for cops hitting on Emma Clifton.
And carrying them across.
See, I wonder, these people in the background, they're probably not Keystone actors. They're probably just people hanging out in the park that happen to get
having a real
caught
conversation.
into this. But think about it, 100 years later, let's say you're these women, you decide to go to a park that day. You're forever
in history.
Engraved in a historical film that'll live forever. But
I could be wrong. I don't know a lot about this issue, but it really seems like Ford Sterling has some. You can see some influence in Chaplin's acting and a lot of his facial expressions.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Which is interesting that you brought that up in the first movie, in Making a Living, that this is who Chaplin comes to replace. And just looking at Ford Sterling, it's very Chaplin-esque, and he's, like I said, very key to the development of Charlie Chaplin.
Well, when Charlie got there, he was uncomfortable in front of the camera, because he was a stage performer. So he's go, well, if I'm replacing Ford Sterling, I should probably try to act like him. Because at that time, that was what his model was.
I want to bring something up here. Look at Chaplin's arm there. This is the first time that I know of that we see holes or even like tattering in the Tramp's clothes, which eventually become a trademark thing.
And all that acting he did with his back to the camera.
Did you notice that little figure? City lights?
Thumbed his nose at society. I could take him.
He's kind of just having fun.
But look at the girls in the back. They're very cute in this.
And usually, now notice.
They're probably thinking about calling the cops right now.
It's funny. In most movies, these girls are probably continuing on in their conversation, and they're like, "What is going on?" They genuinely look worried. Look at them. This is hysterical. I don't know what's funnier, the guy getting beat up or the girls laughing like.
What's that say on the behind Charlie on that Shallows place or something?
Probably a location, or maybe it's a mental institution.
Well, that's where Ford's heading, I'd say. Look at this.
Is he biting her?
He's biting her face. That would never be allowed.
Oh wow, this guy's a real leprechaun.
A real tall leprechaun.
Look at these girls clapping. They probably really think this is. Look at them. They're loving this.
And see, we're watching this. We're watching these films on a projector, so.
Oh, there we go.
Oh wait,
they might be actresses.
Shadow's Place is what that says in the background.
Might be a last name. Might be an estate. Oh, there goes Chaplin. Oh, it's very exaggerated falls. Kind of reminds me of WWE.
the original WWE.
Crappy wrestling.
That looks like The Undertaker right there.
Of course, he has to get his hat. Did you notice the hole in the back of his pants? Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder if this was accidental and almost accidentally became a trademark thing for the Tramp.
It's. Think about how much wear and tear and this costume got. Because I guarantee you, this is the same costume it was in Kid Auto Races and all these other films. I'm sure they didn't have backups for this stuff. They just put on whatever they had.
This poor suspecting guy.
It's not like Charlie had a closet of these things in 1940. At least choking this woman.
There you go.
These movies are definitely not politically correct these days.
This acting is phenomenal. She takes the umbrella back. All of this because of an umbrella. Poor unsuspecting guy.
And that guy drowned. I wonder what lake that is. It's probably still there. But to me, it's interesting to see Chaplin and Ford Sterling together in a film because it's the guy who was supposed to replace in the beginning, who didn't end up leaving. He wanted to go start his own company because Matt Sennett wasn't paying him enough money. Because because I'm bigger than Keystone. I'm bigger than this. He goes, I can go start my own company and become an even bigger star.
It's definitely a lesson of what arrogance will take you.
That's true. But he decided in the long run to not leave, and thankfully they decided not to fire Charlie either, because him and a lot of people weren't on good terms when he first started either.
I wonder if Max Sennett saw something in Charlie Chaplin no one else saw.
Oh, I think he did.
I mean, this is only, what, his fourth film, and the character's still developing. I mean, it's almost just like, it was like fate. You know, Chaplin was just born to be, bound just to become the...
Well, him and Mabel Normand had their run-ins, and if Charlie didn't get fired because of Charlie getting in an argument with Max Sennett's girlfriend, then, you know, I don't think anything would get him fired.
Yeah, and even though the movie had some embellishes, if you watch the Robert Downey Jr. portrayal of Charlie Chaplin, you kind of see, the movie kind of tackle some of the controversy or issues between Mabel Normand.
Which they talk about in Mabel at the Wheel is the film that they're... We'll get to that at some point. Charlie, look, that mustache makes him look so old. That mustache doesn't look dark as it usually is.
And again, remember, one of the things to talk about, that Charlie Chaplin was originally hired with them believing he was an older
guy, yeah.
He's only in his early mid-20s.
He's 24, 25. I don't think he turned 25 yet.
He's having to portray himself as an old man, which, you know what I love about The Tramp? The character never ages.
It's like Bart Simpson.
Even as Chaplin ages. Oh, here we go.
I wonder where I'm sure Charlie's costume that he's wearing in this film got destroyed or lost, but imagine if someone came across the original Tramp costume, you know? The shoes, the jacket, you know?
Hey, you know,
how cool
what's
would that
his name
be?
again?
Ford Sterling?
No, the other guy.
Chester Conklin.
Yeah. It kind of looks like Pat from SNL, that Pat character.
I don't really see that, but okay, I'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll edit that out, guys. Here's Chaplin picking up the ladies. Doesn't seem like it's going well.
But look at all the acting Charlie's doing. His back is to the camera, and he's doing so much acting. I'm not sure if that kind of thing happened before Charlie got to Keystone. I'm not sure if those subtle bits were ever added.
Some of his, that infamous laugh of his. I mean, there's just something about the likability of Chaplin and some of his classic characteristics that we see continue throughout his film career.
Now I always wonder, like this actress here, Emma Clifton, I don't think she's in any other Keystones. And I always wonder when there's a film without Mabel Normand in it, that if Mabel was just unavailable or she was doing her own movie at the time, so they
just didn't want to work with Chaplin.
Well, that's a possibility too. But every now and then, mostly it's Chaplin and Mabel Normand in these Keystones.
Here's a random guy walking in the background. Probably has no idea what's going on.
It's possible.
This is just Chaplin, having fun in front of the camera?
Mugging. But see, all these little bits, slowly but surely, he was relating more and more to audiences. And, oh wow, that just went... So see,
that's a lower quality piece of film.
That's probably from an 8mm or a 16mm copy. It was probably cut out of the better restored copy. Probably ran out there, so they had to fill it in with.
This restoration team really did a good job of trying to find the best.
David Shepard, who I actually met at the Chaplin conference in Ohio a couple years back. He's the one who did all these restorations, and it took him 8 years, 10 years.
Of course, Chaplin wins. Uh-oh.
Well,
there you go, guys. Hope you enjoy.
A rainstorm.